All right, so here's an update on the Mowett Mustang. Me and the boy got everything painted. Obviously, seen in the last video, we tore it down and we painted an International Harvester red. And we're gonna do another coat, but we kind of wanted to get everything together because I also got to add a clutch pedal or a brake pedal, and we'll get into how we're gonna add brakes to this because the Mowett Mustang did not come with brakes. Had small wheels on it. It was meant to be in grass. It should stop easily. Well, now we're gonna add rubber tires to it and it doesn't stop well. So we'll check the hood out here. We didn't do much to it. Straightened it out a little bit. Threw some paint on it. So here we got some brakes. Got these off the Amazon. Made in China. That brake cable ain't great. It's just a drum brake off a go-kart. And this here is a 3/4 adapter for the axle shaft, which this is 3/4. So this will go on here. This kind of bolts to that. And we'll have to make a bracket here for the brake band to go over it. We got, these are 11-inch tires, so from top to bottom are 11-inch. And the factory tire size on the Mowett Mustang, I think, was like 10 inches. And the reason why I went with smaller tires still is because I didn't want to change the speed, the gear ratio basically, of how fast it went. It went at just about a perfect speed. I don't want it to go too fast because I don't want Speed Man over here running it like a go-kart. So we'll get these axle shafts cleaned up. We'll get the tires on. Yeah. We're gonna clean these up with the wire wheel on my bench grinder, and we'll slap the tires on. Why I had to grind this off right here, I really had to beat the old tires off. As a matter of fact, I actually had to cut the old tires off with a sawzall down to the rim. Those are a little loose, but be okay. Hey buddy, hand me those bushings. Now, when we put these on, give me the other tire, buddy. Right in there. Got it? So these tires aren't gonna fully seat. Look at that, dude.
Like a weight.
Hang on. What do you think?
Good. That is like a weight.
What do you think of this, dude?
Looks good.
Yeah? She's a puller now.
And I'm about to get the transmission done.
So, just to show you guys, these are the factory spacers for the original tires. I wanted to keep these on just because to keep the alignment right with the transmission with the chain. So we're gonna have, I don't know, probably 3/4 of an inch of this hub sticking out. So what we'll end up doing, marking these, we'll drill our hole in the back for the tire, put a pin in right here, and then here's our brake. So we'll get our brake set up right here like this. Then I've got to put a sheet of metal or something back here so we can put this brake band on somewhere back here. I don't know how we're going to set it up quite yet, but it's kind of hard to see. But we'll get something set up back here so we can have some brakes set up. Then we'll run our cable under here somewhere and around the front, so we can have his brake pedal on this side because the go pedal is on this side. We'll rip into this transmission, we'll get it tore apart, and I'll tell you how stupid I am because I actually added oil to this. And these are actually grease filled. So we gotta take this apart, plug my hole here with my awesome wooden plug, slap new grease in it, new gasket, and get her painted up. All right, we got this little shifter here. This just has one forward gear and one reverse gear. If you see in there, it's just a little shaft. Neutral, forward, neutral, reverse. Pretty simple setup. So we'll get this off. So now I was looking at this trans, it splits in the center here. I'm guessing this main shaft goes all the way through. You can see it turning. So we'll take this C-clip off and see if it'll just split. Could pull this out, but I don't think I'm going to. All right. Garage sale find. Ready, bud?
Yeah. Good.
Let's watch the part numbers go flying everywhere. Get ready.
Yep.
Wow. Well, you know, it's a good thing your dad did put gear oil on it, because if we didn't, she'd be grenaded already. This is all supposed to be grease in here, buddy. See how that kind of works?
Yeah, so that twists this, and then it twists this part.
Yup. So down here's your pulley. This is your pulley that comes from your belts, from your engine, that transfers the power up to here to this shaft right here. And this is your shift fork to go from forward to reverse.
Oopsies. To make it, to go neutral, reverse, and forward.
Yep, so we gotta take this out nice and
So
neat.
where is back?
This is just a bronze bushing here.
This is actually like a real life.
Here we have shift pause for forward and reverse and neutral. These just come sliding out, I think. Tent in here, I know that. So I need to get that cleaned out. Let's see. There it is. It's okay. Uh-oh, I heard something go ka-tink.
What does that mean, Dad?
Oh, shaft key of some sort. Heard more ka-tink.
What is that?
This is not good. That's what that means. All right, here's the ball for the D10 that goes inside here. There's that key shaft. And there's your transmission, bud.
Well,
What do you think?
Been good. Is that so? Is all this stuff supposed to be in there, Dad? All this?
Well, there's supposed to be grease in there, and there's not.
Oh, so we have to go get the grease
Well, we gotta do a lot of cleaning.
for that.
All right, just to give you the rundown, these are supposed to be factory filled with grease, this trans, and here's what's left of it. Now, when I first got this thing, is that safe? Okay, whatever. All right, so what I did, and this is how stupid I am, I guess. I seen a drain. There's a drain on this thing on the other side. And I was like, man, it's got to have gear oil, right? Well, wrong. It's filled with grease. So what I did is I drilled a hole up the top of here, filled it with gear oil, and just shoved a piece of wood in there. And I'm honestly happy I did, because this is all that's left of this grease. And I know some of the gear oil might have loosened it up, but there was not enough in here. So we'll get this cleaned up. I'm not going to bore you with a video of cleaning these gears up, but I'll at least get a video of us throwing it back together. All right, so we got her cleaned up. Started getting some grease in here. But I did notice this main drive gear is pretty pitted. But we're going to run it. All I'm doing basically is just packing grease in all these crevices, and I just don't know how much I should and shouldn't pack in there. It's all right, so before you start hammering this thing together, I know my lens here is a little dirty, but before you start hammering this together, there's a little notch right here that actually sits in here. That notch isn't in there from this bronze bushing. These two won't go together, so make sure you turn this. Buttoned up. Let the RTV dry and we'll clean it up. I'm gonna leave this little old plug in here, the old wood plug, for memory's sake, I guess. All right, never mind the mess in the shop, but we're pretty much at a stopping point for this video. We did get the transmission painted it up black, but I want to explain the braking system and how we set it up. So obviously, like I said earlier, this brake kit is off of a go-kart. So all I'm going to do is put 2 set screws in here and put a tack weld on this axle, and it'll hold this in the drum. So what we ended up doing here is, this is just a bike brake line, and I took this bolt, if you can see it. I took this bolt here, drilled it through the frame, and there's actually a bushing up underneath. I'll see if you can see it. But that bushing that's in here is for, so when I go to squeeze this together, it doesn't, you know, it does not squeeze the frame because it's open on the bottom. It doesn't pinch the frame. And all I did here on this bolt was drill a hole for the cable, and then one size bigger for the outside of the cable to sit in. And obviously this is just got the hole down for the wire, and then I just have 2 backing nuts in here. Now up here for the braking system, I've got to weld basically a stop right here for it so it doesn't come back too far, and a stop underneath here so it doesn't go too forward and break the brake cable. Because, you know, this brake cable is pretty small, and kids are going to be driving this, and they're not going to be easy on it. So this hinge here is actually from Home Depot, and it is a spring hinge. That's why it's able to come back so easy. So we will end up putting a mount on there. Let's see over here. So now we got brakes, a Mowett Mustang with brakes, and it should work pretty good. So this is a little frayed right here because this is an old brake cable from a scooter that we found in the trash can, but should work pretty good. All right.
I think it's gonna work.
Okay. So next video, we'll probably throw the engine on, get the transmission mounted up. I have some bushings I have to put in this axle because they're sliding in and out. There's a little play in it that I don't want. And unfortunately, I actually had to drill on the inside of the axle for the bolts to go through. And one of them is a little loose because I drilled it perfectly centered. I wish I didn't. This one was not perfectly centered, so there's really no slop. I kind of had to hammer it in. Not a big deal. We'll make something work. Got a little paint left to do. We have to throw the hood on, and she should be ready to go, dude.
Yeah, I just really want to drive it, but we can't.
And the tires, we just got, these were on sale at Harbor Freight. They're solid rubber tires, which I know we're probably gonna not use these because if anybody's driven a Mowett Mustang, you know they ride really rough. And when you put the rubber actual air-filled tires, it rides a lot better. But these are pretty heavy, so that way you know the front end comes up pretty easy on these. Hopefully this will alleviate some of that. So we're pretty much at a stopping point. On the next video, hopefully we'll get it back together and people can see it run.
Yeah, so